Hello YouTube. I forgot to open this one in the last video. And plus I just want to look at some cars. So this is Greenlight Police Department, City of New York. I don't know if these are hobby exclusive or what. This is the first Greenlight accessory pack I've ever purchased. All of the Greenlight accessories that I have come in either diorama sets or they've just come with the cars. I've got quite a bit of people, toolboxes, got a battery charger, a couple of cherry pickers. I've got some cool stuff, but I don't have any road stuff, which is more suitable for the dioramas that I make. And so these things actually look perfect. I'm not sure how scale accurate they are. I think they might be just a smidgen big. I do have a little cone set with some roadblocks, road closed signs that I got at an antique mall. Those are made for train sets, and I don't know what size, but I think they're HO scale, which is just a tad smaller than 1:64 scale. So these have some kind of protective plastic on the back, it looks like. Yeah, that just comes right off. Not sure why that's on there. I guess maybe to protect the paint from the packaging. And just to show you what I'm talking about here. These are the police line do not cross signs. You can see a little piece of plastic here. It's really not that easy to get them off either. Just because of how small they are. If I had a pair of tweezers, it would come right off. Okay, that one came right off. So anyways, I think these are pretty cool. I would have liked to have had them in a more neutral color, just like a generic DOT type of a livery or colorway, but it's still better than nothing. Yeah, it's just really hard getting that plastic off, man. Anyways, so the other roadblock signs that I have that are similar to these, actually, are yellow and red. So, but this is really cool. This should come in handy for some interesting scenes, although these things here are not used for, you know, road construction. They're more used, I think, as, well, maybe they are, I don't know, but I know typically you have like your cone zones to merge the lanes, and I've seen these used more for like barriers, as or even in some cases I've seen these used as safety, almost like safety bumpers. But anyway, so there's those. But I wanted to take a look, as I said, at some cars. I've had a rough couple of days. I'm not going to go into it here, but I was at the hospital last night, so just not sleeping very well tonight. So I figure, well, I'll take a look at some cars, and since I'm doing that, might as well make a video. This is, so there's going to be some different brands here. We're going to look at obviously Racing Champions, because that's what we're looking at now. There's a couple of Johnny Lightning cars. There's a Revell. There's a Konami, and then there's a few Kyosho cars. But anyways, this is Racing Champions. It's a Ford. Unfortunately, it's just the big V10 Super Duty. I think it's a it's a F350. I would like it much better if instead of saying V10, it said Power Stroke Diesel. It does have an opening hood. I don't think I've noticed that about this truck before. Pretty nice little detailed engine in there too. This truck is actually pretty sweet. Most of the time when you find these Racing Champion dualies, they're with Johnny Lightning, or not Johnny Lightning, but John Deere livery. So white, green, yellow. So when I found this one in black with the like a cream tan colored interior, I had to snag it up. Plus it was cheap. It was like $5. It's not as detailed as the green light trucks that we're seeing, but it's a lot older. This truck, I think it came out around 2000. It's a 99 Ford F350. I want to say it was around the year 2000 or 2001. So it's not scaled. It's not true to scale. It's probably closer to 1 to 70. But Greenlight is doing the new Ford F350 dually. That is a tooling that is coming out. They're also doing the Nissan Titan. So they've got some awesome new toolings that are still coming out. Even with all these awesome toolings that they've brought out the last few months, there's still a bunch more really cool stuff on the way. The Volkswagen Squareback is coming out. So Greenlight is still smashing it, and they're still just staying aggressive with bringing new stuff to the market for collectors. But for the time when this truck did come out, it is pretty nicely detailed. Because back then you didn't have M2, you didn't have Greenlight or Auto World. All you really had was Hot Wheels, Matchbox, Racing Champions, and Johnny Lightning, and then you had a little bit of Ertl stuff. Because I think even the Revell stuff came a little bit after this. So for that time, this was really nicely detailed, you know, with painted headlights, indicators. The grille is pretty nicely detailed. Side view mirrors, brake lights. So, you know, today's detailing is, I think, a notch above this, because you're not just getting paint, but you're getting paint and then you're getting tampos over the top of it to give it more of a lensed look. But for the time period, this is a really nice truck, and it's a unique enough truck that it'll probably never leave my collection. I've been collecting pretty aggressively for 4 years, 4 years I think now, and I've only come across this one. I haven't seen another one, and that's not to say that they're not out there. You can go out and find them, but they don't come up often. So, like I said, the ones that I see all the time of this casting are the John Deere trucks. So, anyway, so there's that Racing Champions. Johnny Lightning. This is a relatively recent addition to my collection, going back to the Tucson Toy Show 2 weeks ago. And I don't know if that's a Chevy. I think it's a Chevy or a GMC 2500. So, and it's a 2000 too. I've thought about taking this brush guard off the front. I think it looks pretty ugly the way it's squared off, and then you have the little the little Blair Witch things, which are part of the movie. I'm just not a huge fan of it, and I'd almost rather see the front end of the van, because there is some pretty nice detail behind it with the painted indicators and headlights. But I don't know. I like the accessories on top. I like the safari rack and the KC lights with the light bar, although that would make for some awesome customs if you were to take that light bar off. That light bar is actually pretty sick. I wish Greenlight would do one of those. It is a pretty nice van, though. Metal body, metal base, rubber tires with tread, and quite a bit of detail. Not sure what this is. I think this is probably some kind of antenna. So, anyways, it's a pretty cool piece. I got it mainly because I like it for the accessories, although the more I look at this brush guard, the less I like it. I have not seen this movie, so I'm kind of curious how accurate this thing is. I might have to Google it, actually. I never thought to do that. So, I brought this one out to look at it, mainly just to look at one of these Land Cruisers on the layout. The last Land Cruiser that I showed was the TRD Miho exclusive, which is my favorite Land Cruiser of all the ones they put out so far. But I do like this one. It's been kind of talked about as an Icon 4x4 or Icon Designs Land Cruiser unofficially. I don't know how Icon feels about that. I don't know how Johnny Lightning feels about that, but I think it looks pretty good on the layout. Although more appropriately, you'd have to have it up like this. There's just no room on that terrain. There's no room up here. I'm so glad that round 2 is bringing these out. And a lot of them too. They put out probably about 10 of them, I think, between... You had the 2 Gone Fishing. You had the 2 trucks. You had the 2 regulars. And then there's been a whole assortment of exclusives. So there's probably more than 10 of these that have come out in the last 4 or 5 months. I don't have all of them. I think I would like to get all of them. I have most of them, but there are a few that I don't have. And then the last Johnny that I wanted to look at is this. Another F-Series truck. This one is actually probably also an F-350. Man, that seems dark on the screen. Obviously, this is an earlier body style than the Black Racing Champions. And obviously, we're looking at a different setup on the back. You don't have the bed. It is still a dually, but you have the towing assembly here with the toolbox and the light bar. Some really cool detail on this with that diamond plate. Got all the little levers there. A lot of extra pieces. There's a little bit of articulation, but not much. It's definitely not made to articulate. That would be pretty cool if it was, if you could actually tow some die cast with it. Nice wheels on this one. I think I actually like the wheels a little better on this one. And I really like this towing assembly. It's a tooling that I wish that Greenlight would do, because they have the Ford, Chevy, and Dodge trucks. The problem, though, and something that I actually kind of wonder, I guess they couldn't do this if they made the trucks accurately, but you'd have to have a standard wheelbase for all three of those trucks. The die-cast platforms would have to be the same from the end of the cab back to have a universal, like as an example, the ramp truck. If you'd almost think they'd have to retool the entire ramp. You know, they have the ramp truck. It's on the old Ford F-100. They're bringing it out on the Chevy, and you think, well, it's just the Chevy cab with the ramp in the back. Well, it's not that simple, because that truck has a different wheelbase than the Chevy, so they probably have to retool the entire thing. Whereas if they would make the wheelbase standard on all of those trucks, then they could make these things interchangeable, like the ramp truck, the ramp on the ramp truck, or a towing setup like this, or a camper. All of those things could be interchangeable between the trucks. So I haven't really thought about that before, but it is an interesting thought. Ideally, you give them all the same wheelbase, and then you can say, well, you know, I want to bring out the Dodge tow truck, and then next month we'll bring out the Chevy tow truck, and the whole time you're using the same tow setup, you're just using a different cab. This is a pretty cool Johnny. A lot of nice detail. There's your tail lights, reverse lights, headlights, indicators, opening hood. This white one was, I think, the harder one to find. There's one just like this, but the colors are inverted. So where this one is white, the other one is blue. Where this one is blue, the other one is white. That one seems to be more common and easier to find. This one seems to be the harder one to find from my experience. So anyways, that's it for the Johnnies. A new addition to my diecast collection. Actually just got this on Sunday. I got two of these, but I'm only going to show this one in this video. You can go back to the Sunday night video if you want to see the other one. This is from the Revell Lowriders, and it's the Chevy S10. Just an awesome casting. They did a nice job with it. These Revell Lowriders don't have the best detail, but they do have, well, in this case, painted headlights. I have a couple of them that don't. Painted brake lights. This one has the articulating bed. I have to say, though, for Lowriders, Hot Wheels did a much better job with the articulating axle. Because with these, it's only up and down, and it's all the way up or all the way down. There's no intermittent elevation of the axle. With Hot Wheels, it's a ball joint, and you can pretty much articulate it however you want. So, but the Revells, I think, look a lot better as far as the cars go. They just don't display as nice because they don't articulate as much. But these S10s are totally awesome. And they seem to be very hard to find, and they seem to be kind of expensive too when you do find them. I know that these ones that I picked up were not cheap, but they're so hard to find that I just felt I should get them. The other one I have is a darker purple, and it has the gold 100-spoke Daytons. This one obviously has the TriStar wheels, which back in the late 90s when I got my license in the mid-90s, TriStar wheels were really big. It was TriStar and 5-star. Those were the wheels that everybody wanted. So, they're actually period correct. You don't see them nowadays. They look nice when they're spinning. They look like boomerangs, but I think overall the 5-stars looked a lot better, which is why today you still see 5-star wheels all over the place. The base on these cars are pretty simple. They're plastic. And I can't read what all that says. It says 2000 copyright. It does say China. There's a look at the base. You can see another disadvantage of the way these axles are made is you have this issue here. The guy that I got these from, he's local to me, local collector, but he's not real big on collecting for value. These are duplicates that he had, but what he does with these is he takes the wheels off of them and makes other customs with these wheels. So he basically collects these for the wheels, which is insane. Because for what you have to pay to get these things, I would never rob the wheels off of them. Especially when, I mean, look how nice that looks. That's an awesome looking die-cast car. There's no reason to chop it up, in my opinion. But to each their own, I guess. Alright, we'll do a Konami real quick, and then we'll show the Kyosho, and then we'll wrap it up. This is a Konami car that I got about a month ago from the Toy Pimp. It's a Nissan Laurel from, I think it's like a 73. I don't think it has the year on the base. I don't know. It's a beautiful car. I have the new Hot Wheels Nissan Laurel. They look really good next to each other. Obviously, the Hot Wheels is custom. This is stock. So the stance on the cars are very different. The Hot Wheels has the fender flares. But the basics of the car are very similar. The lines on the car are very similar. The back end and the tail lights are fairly similar. And actually the size on them isn't too far different. They're not exactly the same size, but they're not too far off. But you can see with Konami the detail that you get. The lensed headlights. I mean, don't get me wrong, that Hot Wheels car has great detail as well. Especially by Hot Wheels standards. One of the better cars they've done. But if you like stock, accurate looking cars, Konami's a great brand for it. Especially if you're into Japanese stuff. Because you won't find, I shouldn't say you won't. Tomica Limited Vintage does some really nice, really highly detailed Nissan Laurels, but not this body style. Konami's the only brand that has done this, and now Hot Wheels, as far as I know. By Konami standards, this is a big car. Got a good weight to it. It's got nice suspension, soft rubber tires, prototypical wheels here, which probably won't show too well. But I love Konami diecast. Very realistic looking little cars. So there is that. Now we're going to look at some very impressive diecast. that I have not looked at on this diorama. Here is the Alfa Romeo. This is a Junior Z. I have to say I like the Montreal casting better, but this is still an awesome little casting. I don't know that red would have been my first choice of color, just because I think it hides a lot of the detail when the tail lights are red. But it is a very awesome little die-cast car. Lensed headlights and tail lights on this. Got that iconic Alfa Romeo grille. Really nice roller. This one also has prototypical wheels. Very highly detailed. And that is just an awesome die-cast car. This one here is, I think, one of the nicest looking Kyosho cars in my collection. Although the Bentley I showed last week is way up there on that list as well. This one here, though, just incredible. That silver color, the stance, everything about it. This car is just so on point. It's a nice roller too. This was a model kit car. I had the privilege to put it together. And like most Kyoshos, it also has lensed headlights. Just look at that. Look at that front view. Totally sick. Also have lensed taillights. Love that car. Great looking car. Also from Kyosho, this tiny little Honda. S800 Roadster. Sick little car. This one also has lensed headlights and tail lights. Whoa! Got that old vintage Honda logo there in the grille. I don't know if I can get this to focus. And you've got those indicators in there. Got the chrome ring around the lensed headlights. Got the chrome fender mounted side view mirrors. There's your lens taillights, trimmed in chrome. Just a gorgeous little casting. And it's a tiny one too. For reference, I'll put the Ferrari back up. It's a tiny little car, but it packs a lot of detail in it. And it displays for as small as it is, it displays really nice. It is true to scale, though. So, as small as it is, if you were to park a 512 BBI Ferrari next to it, that's what the proportions would be. So pretty cool. And then this last one, when I bought this from the Toy Pimp. I had the honored privilege, and I mean that when I say that, of going through his garage, which is, he has a ton of stuff in his garage. So much stuff he doesn't even know what he has in there. You know, he knows a lot of it, but there's a lot of stuff that he has in there that he's forgotten about. So I was going through it, and I came across this. It was on the base in the bubble, and I thought it was a Konami, because the Konami and Kyosho look pretty similar when they're on the base in the bubble. And I thought that this was a Konami. It wasn't until I got it home and got it taken off the base that I realized it's a Kyosho. And then after doing that, I went on eBay and looked for it, and I cannot find this car. But it is an absolutely beautiful Nissan Skyline 2000 GT. And it's a Japan-era Skyline. And it's just very, very hard to find these. I have no idea what it's worth. I know it's worth a lot more than I paid for it, though. I would bet a lot of money on that. But it's such a unique looking car. You know, it's like a forest green type of a color. Chrome trim. Chrome wheels that are prototypical. Fender mounted side view mirrors, which are very delicate, but don't seem to be nearly as delicate as the M2s. And it's just a car with kind of strange lines, but it looks really, really good. Has like a forward kind of leaning look to it. And I've got actually like 7 or 8 different generations of Skylines from Kyosho. I should do a video on them, as I have everything from the one I don't have is the Hakosuka or the Kenmari, but I have pretty much every one after those except the R32. So probably the 3 most popular are the 3 I don't have: the Hakosuka, the Kenmari, and the R32. But I've got the R30, I've got the R33, I've got the R34, I've got a really nice C210 Japan Skyline. This one here, which is another Japan Skyline. I have enough I could definitely do a video. And then this one, like most other Kyoshos, lensed headlights and lensed taillights. And those are your iconic, quintessential Nissan Skyline taillights right there. Beautiful little car. I love this car. It's one of my favorite Kyosho Skylines. So, with that, we'll wrap up the video. I'm not going to put all the cars that we looked at on here, but I'll put a few. Alfa Romeo. And we'll throw this truck on there. I love premium diecasts. I know there's more Hot Wheel collectors out there than anything. But for me, this is the stuff that I really enjoy collecting. And one of the big reasons why is because you can do these little dioramas and it just looks so real, you know. I like trying to replicate a real scene, and you can't do that with Hot Wheels cars. You know, if I put a Hot Wheels car on this layout, it would look like it doesn't belong, because it wouldn't belong. But when you put an Auto World or a Greenlight or a Tomica Limited Vintage, or a Kyosho, or a Konami, or in some cases a Racing Champions. That Chevy 3100 truck looked amazing on this layout, I think. And certain Johnny Lightnings look really good on it, but for the most part, premium import diecast is where it's at for me. So, anyways, there you go. Thanks for checking out the video. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. Hopefully I can now go to bed and get some sleep. I will holler at you all at the next video.